Hello there, and welcome to this short practical session on how to use a digital health checker to assess your own digital safety. The digital health checker that we're going to use today is Digital.Lead. It's a really good digital health checker. It's actually one that we have made and run ourselves at Lead, although with big thanks to Alicia Sykes. It's a copy of her much bigger one that we're using, but this is one which is tailored towards what we think people really need to know. So I'll stick the link for this in the description below. And it's really worth going and having a look at how this works. I'm going to show you how it works anyway, and we'll have a quick look at all of the different features. So as we come down, you can see we've got a progress bar. It says 0 out of 59 items. There are 59 different things on here which I think are really, really important for people to do to really stay safe online. Now, it's not necessarily realistic that you're going to be able to do all 59, and if you're here maybe supporting somebody else to stay safe online, maybe you're a disability practitioner, an unpaid carer, you're just someone who's trying to help a neighbour or a loved one or anything like that, it might not be possible, it might not be realistic to expect them to do all 59 things, but that's okay. One of the things which Digital.Lead does is it lets you assess your own current security or somebody's security so that you can work out where they're doing really well, but it also gives you the opportunity to think about how they can take another couple of steps towards being safe online. So even if someone's only done 2 or 3 things, that's 2 or 3 things more than nothing, so that's really good. But you can also use this as a way of thinking about how else they can make positive changes to stay safe online. We've got a rows diagram just here on the right hand side. We'll come back to that as and when we've completed some of the checklists just to see how that works. And then just towards the bottom of the page, we've got the checklists. So we're going to start with authentication. And each checklist sort of follows a very similar format. We've got a little bit of information about what it is and why it's important. And then we've got the actual things that we're looking at on the checklist. So here we've got 6 key things about authentication. Use a strong password, don't reuse passwords, save your passwords to the browser, avoid sharing passwords, enabling 2-factor authentication, and keeping backup code safe. For some things, if you're using an authenticator app like Microsoft Authenticator, you're going to have 2-factor authentication backup codes downloaded, and it's really important to keep those safe. So we can just check everything off if you do everything. If you don't do some things, you can uncheck them. So what I've done here is I've done 5 out of 6 things. And say I don't save my passwords to the browser, say I've never heard of that or I'm really skeptical about that. It's a really important thing that you can do, and actually we've got a video in this Training the Trainers series on exactly that. If you wanted to find out a bit more, we can have a look in this sort of details box, and actually we've got a link here which I'm just going to open in a new tab, which is going to take you to a course on my Lead about exactly this. So not every single thing on Digital.Lead links to a course on my Lead, but lots of things do. So there we are. I'm going to leave that as 5 out of 6 things. I'm going to come back to the home page, and you can now see that I've done 5 out of 59 items. Brilliant, that's a really good start. Let's have a look at one more checklist, and then we can just see how that rows diagram works. So we're going to click web browsing, and again, we've got 6 things on here. Not every checklist has 6 things. We can block ads. We can ensure websites are legitimate. We can remove unnecessary browser add-ons. We can keep our browser up to date. We can check for HTTPS, a really important thing. And we can block third-party cookies. Now, again, I'm going to tick 5 out of 6. Let's say I never worry about keeping things up to date. Again, in this details block on the right-hand side, we've got some links. And the last link here is our free course on staying up to date with updates. Again, I can open that up, I can log in, and I can go through this free course on our free learning platform. So I've done a couple of these now. Let's come back to the home page, and we can see this rows diagram is starting to fill itself in. As we go through all of the different checklists, that's going to that's going to fill itself in all the way around. The more green there is on there, the more full that diagram is, that's the more that you're doing to stay safe. It's exactly the same as this progress bar, 10 out of 59. And if you look above essential, just here on the left-hand side, you can see that actually that's filling in as well. If you're wondering what the optional and advanced are, and indeed this directory of recommended software, those are all things from the much bigger site that Alicia had made. A lot of the optional and advanced stuff, I think, is probably going to make staying safe online too complicated and possibly something which people feel worried about, and we don't want people to feel worried about staying safe online. So those things, they're out. We're just looking at the essential stuff. We've rewritten it anyway to keep it a bit more focused on you as a member of the public, as a normal person, rather than someone who works in the cybersecurity industry. But we'll look at one more email. So have more than one email address, keep your email address private, and keep your account secure. Now, if we think one of these is actually not relevant, so we don't do it, but that's because we think it's not relevant, we can click ignore, and then if we come back to our homepage, it now says it's 12 out of 58 items, and we've completed 100% of the email stuff. So this is really, really good. For some things, there might be really good reasons why you can't do something, or something just isn't relevant, and you can ignore it like that, and it's not going to affect your score or your rose diagram or anything like that. For other things, it might be that there are really good reasons why you're not doing it, and that's because it's too complicated. And if you're supporting someone, they're going to feel really worried that they're not doing this thing, which actually may not be as important as some of the other steps. So let's have a look at networks. Change your router's admin password, keep your router firmware up to date, and use a virtual private network while in public. Now, these are all really, really important, and I would definitely recommend doing all of them if you can, but actually if you use 4G instead of a virtual private network or a VPN whilst you're in public, that's fine. So you can ignore there, and you can do the other ones, and then it's not going to, and then it's going to look like you're doing all of the things which you're wanting to do. So if you've got someone who's maybe only ever going to get to doing 20 of these things, but they're actually the really, really key things, they can still have this say that they've reached their, they've done everything. They're not going to have a progress bar which has only got a few things on it. It's still going to look really, really good. So that's Digital.Lead. Like I said, there's a link in the description below for it. If you are on our online learning platform, my.lead, head to the tools page up at the top, and it's one of the first things on there as well, so you can find it like that. It is a really, really useful tool. You can conduct an audit, find out what you're already doing, find out all the things that you're doing brilliantly at the moment, but also, really importantly, find out what the next steps are for your journey towards staying safe online. Thanks very much for watching. Please do check back to our channel for some future videos on staying safe online.